Welcome back to our Arbitrary YouTube channel. In today's class we'll be learning how to make this beautiful sleeve that we see here. It's very simple to make and it's really stylish. If this is something you like to learn, kindly stay tuned till the end of this tutorial. Thank you. Okay, so this is actually very simple to make and it's very fast and easy. So I'm working with this satin fabric and I'm cutting both my lining and my main fabric together because I'm using the same fabric for the lining and the main bodies. So the length I'm working with is going to be around 10 inches. Okay, so let me just roll a starting point. The length is going to be around 10 inches and then the width of like the foundation fabric bodies is going to be around 9 inches. So I have about 9 inches here and then the length is going to be the length is going to be 10 inches. So this is 10 inches and you can see my fabric is on fold, which means I'm cutting both the fabric and the main bodies together. Okay, so now I'm going to cut out what I have marked. So I've cut this out now. So after cutting it out, you can see this is on fold. I'm just going to fold it into two again. So now this is by 4 and then I'm going to shape it. Okay, so I still have 10 inches as the length. I just folded the width, so I'm going to shape it by creating like an arc. So you can just get the midpoint of this, which is 5 inches, and then from there you just create an arc depending on how you want this. So I'm just going to be using my free hand, and then from here now I'm just going to shape everything together and I create like a mini arc here, just like you have seen it. Okay, so now I'm going to open it out to see if I'm okay with what I have. So this is what I have and I'm okay with it. If you're not okay with what you have here, you can still shape it further or reshape it anyhow you want. So now that I have this, to cut the next fabric, what you just need to do is measure around this new shape that you have. So now you can see me taking my tape and then I'm measuring around it. So after measuring around this, I have 25 inches. So now this 25 inches, I'm going to cut a long fabric, a long strip of fabric. The length is going to be 25 inches and then the width for me is going to be around 6 inches. Again, this is dependent on how wide you want yours to be by the time you are done. So now these measurements are not static and I'm going to be cutting two also, one for the main fabric and then one is going to serve as my lining. So I'm putting my fabric on fold and then I'm measuring. So when I put it on fold, I'm not measuring 25 again. I'll measure 12.5 because by the time I open it out, but I just want to cut it in excess because I don't want to run short of fabric. If it's too much, I can still cut it off. So instead of cutting 25 inches, I'm going to be cutting about 28 inches. Okay, and 28 divided by 2 is going to give me 14, so that I'll be sure that I'm not going to run out of fabric. And then the length is going to be 12. The length is going to be 6 inches including seam allowance. Okay, so by the time I sew it, I'll be left with around 5 inches, which is fine for me. Or I can make it 7 inches so that by the time I sew it, I'll have around 6 inches. So now I'm cutting the lining and the main fabric together again, and I'll go ahead and fuse my interfacing. So interfacing is very important because it's going to be a standing sleeve, so it's going to help it to have structure. So now I'm slashing this into two so that I can separate my main body from my lining. So this is what I have now. So each of this is going to go for the lining and the other part is going to go as your main bodies. So now I'm going to fuse interfacing to my lining. I'm going to be using gum stay, but you can use like collar stay if you want it to be really strong. So I'll fuse interfacing to the lining part and then I'm going to bring it back to show us how to sew it. So the interfacing is fused to the lining part now, so you can trim off the excess that you have, and then I'll go to the sewing machine now and then sew it all around this design that we have. So I'm on the machine now, so all you just need to do is to place them on each other and then you sew as gently as possible. So when you get to the corners, just use your hand to guide it. You can also place a notch to make it easier for you to sew. Make sure you sew and nothing is packing like this, so just use your hand to guide it. So I'm going to sew the other one as well. So you keep sewing like this till you get to the end point. So getting to the end point now, you can see that I have excess, so all I just need to do is to trim off this excess. So now I'm going to sew the main bodies the same way I have sewn the lining before turning them out against each other. So this is me sewing the main bodies as well, and then when you get to the corners, you just take your time and then you turn gently so that you will not have anything packing on that side as well. So the excess that you have here also, you are going to use your scissors to cut off this excess that we have. Okay, so this is the lining and this is the main body. So at this point, if you feel the straight fabric that you used to turn it is too big, you can still cut it off, but I'm okay with what I have. So what I'm just going to do now is to place the lining and the main bodies right side facing right side like this, and then you match it up. So I'm just going to match it up and pin all around. Okay, so you match everything up, everything has to match. So after matching it up like this, I'm going to pin it round and then I'll sew. So I've pinned this. Now you can see this is the main bodies and this is the lining. So the next thing you need to do now is to sew it all round, and then you leave a small space to turn it out when you're done. So I'll take it to the sewing machine now and then sew it all round. So I've sewn it all round now and I left this small space, so I'm just going to dip my hand and then turn out everything gently. So you need to go and iron it again, but when you're ironing it, you iron it very carefully. If you have a tailor's hammer, you can use it so that you're not going to lose the structure that you already have. So I'm turning it out, and then the small space that I left, I'm going to go ahead and close it up. So you can tack it down, or you just use your hemming gum to glue them together if you don't want to have any seam line there. So I'll make sure I bring out all the sharp edges, and then I'm going to iron this, then bring it back to show us what we have. So I have turned this out now, and this is what I have. Okay, so you need to iron it very well so that it can stand properly. And the next thing is for you to either leave it blank like this, or you embellish it with whatever you have. So you can actually bead on it, or you just use your trimming to beautify it, or use your cup chains to just to make it more beautiful and pop out more. So now to attach this, okay, so to sew this, you just measure around 5 inches downward. Make sure it doesn't get to your underarm area so that the person can open the arm very well. So once you measure like 5 inches, you can mark it down, and then you just place it so from front to the back. So this is going to be the back, and this is going to be the front, and this is going to be the part that is going to rest on your shoulder. That's the midpoint. So now you just sew this part from this part all the way to this 5 inches mark on the front as well, on your armhole. Then you leave this other part loose so that when the person is opening the hand, it's going to be easy for them to easily open it up. So now I'll take this to the mannequin now so that we can see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what the sleeve looks like. So what I was explaining, you just need to measure like from the shoulder to like 5 inches, and then you sew that to your armhole, and then leave this part loose so that the person can move the hand easily. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.